Your hand moves before your mind decides anything. You feel a small itch in your pocket. You do not know why. You reach for your phone anyway. There was no notification. There was no buzz. Your brain just asked, and your hand obeyed before you even noticed the question. You tell yourself this is a habit. It is not. It is something far older and far stranger than habit. And once you understand what is actually happening inside your skull, you will never look at that glowing rectangle the same way again. You have probably tried to fix this already. A screen time limit, a black and white display mode, a promise made to yourself at midnight, broken by 9 the next morning. Each time, you assumed the failure was personal, a lack of discipline, a character flaw you needed to work harder on. But what if none of that was ever true? What if the thing pulling your hand toward your pocket 50, 80, 100 times a day was never a flaw at all, but a feature, working exactly as it was built to work, just aimed at the wrong target? Start with a question. Why do some habits feel optional, like flossing, while others feel like gravity, like checking a screen that has not made a sound? The answer has nothing to do with the phone itself. It has to do with a discovery made decades before phones existed, in a lab full of pigeons. In the 1950s, the psychologist B.F. Skinner ran an experiment that would, without anyone intending it, predict the entire architecture of the apps living on your phone today. He placed pigeons in a box. Each time a pigeon pecked a lever, it received a food pellet. Simple enough. But Skinner did not stop there. He changed the rules. Instead of rewarding every peck, he rewarded pecks at random. Sometimes the first peck worked, sometimes the 40th. The pigeon never knew which peck would pay off. What happened next surprised even Skinner. Pigeons on a predictable reward schedule pecked steadily, then stopped once they were full. But pigeons on the random schedule could not stop. They pecked obsessively, compulsively, far past the point of hunger. Some kept pecking long after the food dispenser had been switched off entirely, as if the lever itself had become more compelling than the food it once promised. Skinner called this a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. It is, to this day, the single most addictive reward pattern known to behavioral science. Not certainty. Not even guaranteed reward. Uncertainty. Compare that to a pigeon rewarded every single time it pecked. That pigeon learns quickly, eats, and walks away satisfied. There is no mystery left to chase. But take away the guarantee, replace it with a maybe, and something changes at a much deeper level than simple learning. The behavior stops being about the food at all. It becomes about the checking itself. Why would uncertainty be more powerful than certainty? Shouldn't a guaranteed reward feel better? And this is where the story moves from pigeons to your own brain, and to a neuroscientist named Wolfram Schultz. In the 1990s, Schultz studied dopamine, the chemical most people wrongly believe is released when you get something good. It is not. Schultz discovered dopamine spikes hardest in the moment, right before a reward, during the gap of not knowing. The chemical is not a reward signal. It is a prediction signal. Your brain releases dopamine when an outcome is uncertain, and you are about to find out what happens. His experiments used monkeys, not pigeons this time. He trained them to expect a small reward of juice after a light flashed on a screen. At first, every flash predicted juice with perfect reliability, and dopamine fired exactly when the juice arrived. But once Schultz made the outcome uncertain, rewarding the flash only some of the time, something shifted. The dopamine no longer fired at the moment the juice appeared. It fired earlier, during the flash itself, during the in-between moment of simply not knowing whether juice was coming. The brain had moved its excitement upstream, away from the reward and toward the anticipation of the reward. Think about what that means for the phone in your hand. Every time you pull it from your pocket, you do not know what is waiting. A message. Nothing. A like. Nothing. A notification that matters. Or 17 that do not. Your brain does not crave the content on the screen. It craves the gap right before the screen loads. That half second of not knowing is the most neurologically potent moment of your entire day, repeated dozens, sometimes hundreds of times. This is not an accident of technology. It is a copied blueprint. In the early 2000s, an anthropologist named Natasha Dow-Scholl spent years inside Las Vegas casinos studying slot machine design, eventually publishing her research in a book called Addiction by Design. She found that slot machine engineers had, without calling it this, rebuilt Skinner's pigeon box for humans. Random payouts, near misses that felt like almos,